Welcome to the Val and Ang Show. I'm Val.
I'm Ange.
All right, on the field, off the field.
We got your game plan.
Let's take your game to the next level.
Let's go. Hey, Val.
What's up, Ange?
You ready?
We back at it.
Yes, we are.
Your favorite voices in Monmouth County. Well, we running all over Monmouth County, Ocean County. We back at it. Have a little fun with it. You know. Oh, my goodness.
We're going to start out with something different. I was thinking about something.
What's thinking about?
I want to talk about our highs and lows of the week. Take a little time away. See if that triggers something for us as we go into our episode today. So what was your high and low of this week?
I mean, the biggest thing that comes to my mind right now is just, with my own two kids is, one, being coachable, and two, allowing yourself to be coached, but understanding your potential, and as young athletes, they don't understand that, but it's up to us parents and coaches to close that gap with the young athletes and get them to see it, let alone understand it. With my own two kids, it's I'm not going to say it's hard, but I'm not going to say it's easy because it's the environment that my kids were brought up in. My wife's owns her own dance school, and I own a gym, and they see the level of competition that comes in and day out since they were babies. I mean, literally in a car seat, sitting in the corner, and all of a sudden they took their first steps, and then now they're running. And my kids just, and I don't think it's just my kids, but every kid, majority of kids sometimes think that it just comes easy, as opposed to have to work for it. So
it was kind of just like an easier question, like what's your high and what's your low? Like what good happened?
That's a high and a low for me because,
This is what you've been thinking about all week.
Yeah, and it's just like,
all right, that's fair.
We set a standard. We set a standard for our kids, but as parents, and I have my own kids, it's like, okay, I don't want to have to have the expectation for my son to be like me. He at that age, no. At 8 years old, I was mixing cement.
Yeah,
I was casting cement. By 12 years old, I started my own landscaping business, and I'm cutting grass. That's my vision was sneakers.
Yeah,
I love my sneakers.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your high and low?
So my highs and lows of this week were, my high was, I would say, booking John Paul on the podcast next, which is going to be cool for our next episode. He's the all-in guy who officially goes around the country talking about it. So I think it was time for the two of us to meet. See who has a better all-in story. No. And my low, I would say, having to pick myself up off the ground. And knowing that you just got to bet on yourself. That's the biggest lesson and most I'll say out of it. But you focus on the positives of what's going on and you keep going, right?
Exactly.
You wouldn't even let me feel sorry for myself when I texted you.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, because if you dwell in that moment, then all of a sudden it starts to become a snowball effect. And it's just like, all right, one thing after another, then this is starting to go this way, and now you take something positive and you turn it into that negative. No, we can't. We ain't got time for that.
No.
We ain't got time for that. We got to see the light inside of every negative atom. So deal with it.
Negative atom. I love that.
Oh yeah.
Brings me back to my science days.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think because of both of those things that we didn't even rehearse, I want to talk about focus. Your focus and especially you wanting to get this message out because it's so passionate to you. You're getting these kids these days to focus on what's important with social media, with the distractions around them, and how it's just not the way it used to be. So how do we do that? And I think the biggest thing is switching from focus into what are our self-limiting beliefs that make us lose our focus on the goal.
Well,
that's important,
right? It could be a moment,
yeah.
And focus and go with the perspective of yourself, no matter how hard the situation gets, no matter how uncomfortable the situation gets, within that uncomfortable moment, you have to focus on what the positive is.
Yeah.
And it can be in the middle of a game, it can be in the middle of a practice, coach is all on you and they're pushing you and, because they know what's at stake. And if we were able to squeeze this one out and in a close game, right, the job is accomplished.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, focus can go with what are you doing in class? It's so easy to lose focus sitting in the classroom, especially if you're on a block schedule or whatever. You're in school all day for 8 hours, and who the hell gonna focus that long? But we got to do what we got to do as far as being a student, let alone a student athlete, let alone a human. We sit in meetings all day long, and if you're working a full-time job and you get called into a meeting, you got to focus.
Yeah. What do you do when you notice that your focus is slipping?
I stop.
Yeah.
I stop and I start laughing. I laugh about everything, and I'm just like, all right, let me just focus on this next rep. Let me focus on my next task.
Yeah. That's smart.
It's funny. It's like when I'm cutting the grass, I'm so focused. I got to make sure my lines are straight. I'm like, nah, let's be different today. Let's cut the lines this way. I got to make sure I'm focused, because if you're not focused, you're going to screw it up. And all of a sudden, you done cut the sprinkler head off. You got, now we got a bigger problem. So,
yeah.
What about you?
I definitely take a breath. I am definitely naturally ADHD. I thrive in an environment where my phone is open, my computer is open, I'm writing, I'm calling somebody, and I've learned that just really doesn't work. And that's what I think. Getting these kids to come back down to focus in those moments, they have to train. They have to train that muscle to focus. Because then when you're in a game, you're so high strung. If you don't know how to get back into that flow state, you're in trouble. So yeah. So what do? I breathe, and then I write a list, and I go through the list one at a time instead of 7 at a time. That's been the new thing for me. It's prioritizing. And when I work with my athletes, that's what we go through. It's like when you're at practice, put your phone away. And I think what's been cool is asking an athlete, like, what is your screen time through the day? If you're not putting in the same work to your craft as you are to your screen time, then something's off. So it's a check-in, right? What's that? What does that app look like on your phone? It's my widget, real close. I was at 11 hours a day. That's awful. I'm down to 3.
I don't laugh, but
that's
I can't focus that long for that.
No, I'm saying my phone was at 11 hours a day of touching it. Like, it was not good. Not good. So, but as far as what you see when you have athletes that come in and they're with you for 1 hour, how do you tell the difference between an athlete that's uber focused on that workout or an athlete that's not? What are some characteristics of them?
Them not grasping attention.
Okay.
Them not grasping details, because their attention to detail is not where it should be. So it's like I have to repeat it 10 times because somebody, how many sets? How many sets? I already said 3. So we got to reel them in. We got to reel them in with that. And once we keep them engaged with what they're doing, and then we switch it again. Yeah. Now you got to refocus again. Yeah. So constantly keeping them on their toes. The kids make fun of me, the athletes make fun of me because I'm always changing something in the gym. They'll come in the gym and look one way, and all of a sudden I done revamp the entire gym.
Yeah, did you just paint a new thing?
Yeah, knowing me, I probably did paint it and not pay attention to it. But it's change. And change allows them to focus, as opposed to just becoming robots.
They notice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's like, okay, I need to change this. Right? We need to revamp this because I need to keep them, 1, focused, and then 2, how are they going to adjust to it? And we talk about this within a game. A game, there's going to be so many changes. There's going to be so many highs, so many lows. There's never been a game where a team is just going to constantly keep steamrolling you 24/7. Yeah. And it's just like, where's the high? Where's the low? Yeah. how are you going to overcome that low to get back to that high? It's like watching the NBA playoffs. It's going back and forth, back and forth. All right, okay, who's going to have the lead? All right, it's going to come down to who has the ball last.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to find that moment to say, okay, let me play some defense here.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's just that far gone that they can't stop it.
Yeah.
So it all comes back to focusing on your moment. Focus on what you can do right there and then. If they come in for an hour, a lot of the athletes stay for longer than an hour because,
oh, wow. Okay.
they have things that they want to work on. Finish what you started, then go work on the next thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think the word that comes to mind for me is being intentional. Like, when you get out to practice, like, what are you getting out of practice today? Having that conversation with either your teammates, your coaches, or yourself of, this is what I've got to get out of practice today, instead of just saying, here I'm at practice and this is practice. Like, knowing what you have to do. Like, our days were crazy so far, but we know from 11 to 1, we have to be intentional about what we say and what we do. We're here. There's nowhere else we need to be but here. Right. Despite like what is on our to-do lists when we leave here, the programs you have, how you won't be home till 11 o'clock at night, this is it. This is the moment, and you're intentional about it and you focus. I think it's important, but I think what throws us off of our focus is 3 major things. Self-limiting beliefs is number 1. What you believe about yourself in those moments will determine how focused you are. What do you think?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
That comes back to you on your perspective again.
Yeah.
How do you view yourself? Do you see yourself in that moment prior to being in that moment?
Yeah.
Have you prepared yourself for that fight? Have you prepared yourself to go be successful in that fight?
Yeah. And if you're telling yourself that you're not going to be, there's no doubt you're not going to focus on being.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other thing is, what did you do to get there? Were you just lucky, or did you actually work in that time to do that?
Did you ever have a self-limiting belief in your life?
Oh, 100%.
Give me one that you can share.
Man, listen, the one that jumps off to me is when we're playing Illinois, and I knew what blitz we were about to call. And we're in Illinois, and it's our number 1 blitz, and we're bringing a split blizzard. And I look and I listen to the middle linebacker, and he gives a strong right. That means I'm on the backside of the blitz. Mm-hmm. And I look left. I'm like, oh my God, I got to drop in coverage. Yeah, whatever. I had to snap out of it quick. I only had a split second, because next thing you know, that ball snapped, and I'm with the tight end on the drag, and all of a sudden I see me and the safety on the tight end.
Yeah.
Who's on the running back?
Yeah.
Nobody. I peel off and try to get to the running back, but I had a split second of limiting self-belief where I'm like, damn, I'm on the backside of this, and this is a clutch point.
Yeah.
If they score, they win.
Mm-hmm.
They scored.
Because you said to yourself, I'm not going to get to him.
Yeah, because I maybe it was a miscommunication in the process of that play, but I was on the tight end because that was my closest threat.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, me and the safety are on the tight end, and the running back is out going down the sideline. Next thing you know, the ball's thrown, and I'm just a fingernail away from it going over my finger. Touchdown. I was just like, oh.
So those are moments.
Yeah, but
growing up, did you ever tell yourself, like, I'm not going to be able to do this, or were you always been pretty strong mindset?
No, I've always been pretty strong mindset.
Yeah.
I don't think my mother, let alone the environment I grew up in, would allow me to even think like that.
Yeah.
There was nothing I didn't think I can do.
Really?
Oh yeah, coach. I remember Coach from Ferris said, "There's not a shot this kid doesn't like. Mm-hmm. If I step past half court, I'll shoot that ball."
Yeah. Okay. That was always you. Yeah.
It was just I just didn't care.
Now, what do you do with your kids when they say something that, like?
I tell them it's not in their vocabulary.
Okay.
You got to always believe in yourself, no matter what the situation is.
Okay.
Right? If you make a decision to do something,
you
got to own that. You got to own that. Right? And with my own 2 kids, I'm constantly reassuring them that you are good enough to be out there. You are good enough to be in that position. You are good enough to go be that ballerina. You are good enough, to constantly, even when you fail, you find your successes in that.
Yeah.
All right. So can you consistently repeat that to yourself over and over again when you think you can't do something?
Yeah.
and it's, I'm dad. And they're like, oh, okay, dad, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. And then when I get in your face and start talking to you and, right, and tears start coming, no, you got to trust yourself.
Yeah.
And this is how I have a conversation. I'm not hard on my kids. I mean, I'm not mean, but
yeah.
I'm tough on them.
Yeah. You got to be tough.
I have to, because my kids would take me. They're smart.
Yeah.
But I don't allow them to. Man, neither does my wife. And it was like, listen, you got to want to be better for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's the same way I am with other people's kids.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta want more for yourself, because you gotta want to be better. And if your perspective doesn't match up to your process, or to your purpose, you're never going to see the process.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to understand how to view yourself no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Always be confident to yourself. You say it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Watch how you talk to yourself.
It's so important. I mean, and what I feel so bad about is, because I think I'm guilty of it myself, is this comparison, and the social media, which we talked about, takes you off of your focus. The comparison of what other people are doing, you instantly say to yourself, well, I can't do what they're doing. And that tiny seed that you plant, literally, when you grow that, you're never going to get where you need to go. I know from experience. I mean, I am not as strong-minded as you through my life, so I tend to be a little bit more tolerant of people's self-limiting beliefs. But now that I am seeing where your back is against the wall, you're growing a business, I could have been a different kind of athlete. It is the most important thing in the whole world. Mm-hmm. Comparison.
Well, confidence too. I mean, when you're growing your brand and you're growing yourself, you gotta be confident, and the road is never smooth.
No.
You're gonna have leaps and valleys. You're gonna have ups and downs, and but you have to stay the course.
Yes.
You gotta stay focused. You gotta keep your eye on what you have set for yourself.
Yeah.
Let alone what you have set for the business. Where do you see the business? Like, it's so many different views that you got to have in front of you, and one has to grow the other, and the other has to support the other.
Yeah.
And you just got to keep going through it. And take the lumps, learn from them, and then continue to grow through it. Mm-hmm. It's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process, and I've went through it. Mm-hmm. There's been times where I just be like, I'm tired. Mm-hmm. But if I'm tired, the people that are standing in front of me are looking at me for guidance. Yeah. And I've learned I'm not afraid to voice that. Yeah. But I'm never going to be tired to push you, because I might be physically tired, but mentally I'm always there. Okay. And you got to always be present mentally, even when your physical is gone. Mm-hmm. And you have to give that energy, because something at some point throughout that moment will click. Yeah. And you got to turn that switch on. Yeah. And all of a sudden, now you're running and jumping and doing all the things that the athletes are looking for. Mm-hmm. You got to be in that moment with them. And nowadays, me at my age, I'm like, okay, I got to do it a different way, as opposed to getting in there with them, because now they're looking at me not only just for guidance, but also for leadership, right? And now that mentorship that we want to give them. Yeah. And the same thing with you. These young athletes, they look to you for guidance. Mm-hmm. They look to you for leadership. They look to you for you to be their mentor. Some of them might come to you before they go to their own parents.
I know, I love that.
And that's a respect factor. Yeah. Like, and I'm gonna go off topic here. I got to give my guy Andrew Fisher a shout out, because last night they were playing Wake Forest. And
who's Andrew Fisher?
Andrew Fisher, baseball player at Tennessee. Okay. And automatically, this was like a respect play. Okay. They said, no, we're not even going to pitch to him. We're just going to put him on base. Okay. It's a strategy for the team, for Wake Forest, but they just put him on. That's a respect factor. Mm-hmm. That the way you're swinging that bat right now, kid, they respect you. Mm-hmm. And they see you, like, if I throw him something, he's going to take it to the yard. Yeah. So, had to go off topic and give him a shout out there on the respect factor. I'm gonna get you on the show sooner or later too. Yes, right? We're coming for you, Andrew. We're coming for you. When you come home, got to get you in here.
As far as something that comes up for me when we talk about focus is, I read a quote like, you don't look left, you don't look right, you stay in your lane. Because when you want to do something like somebody else does it, is when you'll never keep your path straight. And I was so like, Ange, that's it. Like you have to worry about your lane. And I think athletes go through this. I think personally I do, is the instant gratification of, hey, I can get this right now. How am I going to get it right now? Instead of the process.
Well, they're looking for the quick dollar.
Yeah.
Quick
dollar, quick
fix.
Yeah. I'm going to take this protein powder and this is going to make me stronger, or, all of it.
It's funny you say that, because people, I was, I'm going to pop creatine. And you don't work out. Like, what? I'm like, no, like, it's going to work against you. Right?
I did actually read, though, don't laugh at me, but I've been taking creatine for 3 weeks because as a woman, it's supposed to be good for your brain.
Good for the brain, but good for the
body. I don't even live.
Because the body is a certain, my doctor put me on creatine. I was like, Doc, if I take creatine, I'm going to explode. I'm going to be huge. And I'm just like, man, I was like, I'm going to take a little bit of creatine. And it was like, your creatine levels went up. I was like,
your body only naturally makes a little bit of it.
Yeah,
so you do have to be careful, which another thing we're learning on the podcast is creatine. But that's what these kids attach to, and they're on social media and they're scrolling and they're seeing somebody do something. It's like, oh, let me go do that. No, just stay the course of what you have to get done, which I think is important. Does any athlete ever talk to you? Our boy Christian here just put up, comparison is the thief of joy, and he is 100% on. I've heard that so much. But has any athlete ever said to you, well, that kid does it like this, why can't I do it like that?
Well, you're two different people.
Yeah.
It was like comparing Michael Jordan and LeBron.
Yeah.
Two different eras and two different animals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both going after the same thing, but one has a different approach. Comparison. I think I have to add that to my word, to my list of things I don't like. I don't like when people compare themselves to others. Because all you can be is yourself. And yes, social media is such an awesome thing. It's a great thing to shop on, but it's like, I really don't go on it as much, unless I have to, like post something or do something like that. But you see things and you want to. I'm like, no. I mean, unless they're giving you motivation and want to get better, then what are you comparing yourself to? If a kid sees this kid get an offer, and you want to relax because you didn't get the offer, no, you need to take that as motivation.
Yes.
And you gotta say, I got to go after mine.
Yes.
All right. That's going to make you even more hungrier. That's because I want it more. I care more about my journey than that person's journey. So I tell them, thank you for giving me that motivation.
I like that. That's good.
And you got to take the negative of however you want to look at it and turn it into a positive. And let the positive fuel your fire. Let that fuel your hunger to go after whatever it is that you want. And I said it today and this morning in the gym to the athletes. It's not where you are right now, right? You might look like you're failing. You might feel like you're failing. I might have told you that you failed, right? But it's not about where you are right now. I'm telling you that to get the most out of you, so that way you start to build your steps brick by brick by brick, so that way you get better by time you are done.
I think I might
just get ready to go, huh?
I think I cried a little.
No, don't cry.
I know that just hit me in my heart. I don't know why.
But they
it's not where you are right now. It's so true.
And it's you talk about your journey on starting all in. You started something from the ground up.
And it's gone in a couple different directions, but I'm ready.
Yeah, but you've paved those directions. And you got to understand that you're in the driver's seat. I'm in the driver's seat. We're in the driver's seat. You got to do it together. And you take your brand and say, you know what? It's mine.
It's mine.
It's mine.
Mine.
And we gonna rock it all the way to the top, and we're gonna stay there.
Yes.
And even when something else comes along, we just gotta find a way to add to it and just keep letting it get bigger and bigger.
Yeah. I was just gonna say something. Oh, yeah. So June 15th is coming up for a lot of our fall athletes, and it's when their coaches can talk to them as juniors. And something I just want to talk about it a little bit as far as I've heard certain comments from people, one of them being...
Call it Judgment Day.
Yeah. Some of them are like, well, on June 15th last year, this athlete got 10 people to reach out to them. That means I'm not good enough and I'm probably not going to play anywhere if I don't get 15 coaches to reach out, right? That's the one. The second one I hear is, well, these are my top 5, and if they don't reach out to me, then I'm not going to play in college.
That's insane.
It's insane.
You know, for girls across, I believe it's September 1st. And
yes.
And I remember my first year coaching girls across, and I was like, what's September 1st? And it was like,
yeah.
It's like when all the colleges can reach out. So I started calling the Judgment Day. I was like, listen, if you did what you were supposed to do when nobody was watching, it's going to pave its way for itself. And you might have a list of 5 schools.
Yeah.
You might have a list of 5 schools, the top schools that you think you want to go to. They might not ever reach out.
Yeah.
But 10 other schools might reach out to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And my mindset is not about where you start. Mm-hmm. It's about where you end up. And that's another chapter. You know, you might end up at a D3, a D2 school.
Yeah.
That's where your college chapter is starting.
Yeah.
And then you continue to work your way and keep working until you get to the level that you want to, and you never lose sight of it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna use this young lady as an example, and I'm not afraid to mention her name because she did just that. And she had her eyes set on big schools, and, you know, big schools wasn't knocking. She wound up going to a William Smith and wound up becoming, I think, 2-3-time All-American at Allie McGinty. Mm-hmm. And then she finished up her career at Duke. Mm-hmm. Just lost in the, I think it was the quarterfinals or the Elite 8 and girls across. And she willed that.
Yeah.
And she had frustrating moments.
Yeah.
You know, we had frustrating moments where we'll go back and forth, you know, and she was so hard on herself because she wanted to be successful.
Yeah.
No matter what she was doing, no matter where she was. And, you know, even if I had her on the show here, she'll tell you it was the best time of her life.
Yeah.
Because she got to see and learn about herself in completely different moments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's just a successful young lady to me because, you know, never once did she look down upon what she was doing. She always found a way to do better. Mm-hmm. You know, so
it's cool.
So to all the athletes that don't get the calls that they expect, you know, but you get that right one that's going to help kickstart your next chapter. That's a huge positive because you can be one of those athletes that don't get nothing.
Yes.
You know,
yeah,
then
it's
what?
The flip side. Yeah.
Then what? You know.
And also, like, you don't know their circumstances. Field hockey recruiting has changed so much that there's roster spot changes, there's international players, there's all kinds of dynamics that have come into play now than they have 2-3 years ago. Yeah. So now you can't compare somebody's 2-3 years ago recruiting process to your recruiting process because also, say you want to play at a Duke, but Duke wants forwards and you're not a forward, so that's okay. You know, I think that we immediately internalize it, we immediately judge ourselves, and then it can be a hindrance, but you should use it to your advantage because there is a school out there for everybody, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe that. And not everybody has to go D1. And that's the big thing. You know, you got to find, you know, the best avenue for yourself. So that way you give yourself the opportunity to 1, play, 2, get a college degree, 3, and, you know, begin your future.
Yeah, get that experience.
And it's not about where you are in that moment. It's about where you end up at, you know, and whoever would have thought, you know, like little old me from coming out of Franklin, New Jersey, would it be sitting here doing a podcast?
Yeah,
you know, we gotta will that, we gotta grow that, and you visualize yourself being successful. Mm-hmm. You know, so, you know, stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and embrace what's not there, but also embrace what you can go after. Mm-hmm. You know, have fun.
When I was getting recruited, I really wasn't. Because I wasn't born with ACL, so I was a medical risk to everybody. So I also was on your regionals field hockey team, so I might have seen like maybe 10 shots a year, but I practiced against them every day. Right. And I didn't go to like futures or play in club teams or anything like that because I didn't have, you know, the money, and I also didn't just didn't have that resource. And so I started just calling every coach, and they're just like, no, it's not going to work. You don't really have much game film, because I didn't. Right. And so kept calling. And then I went to Rutgers camp, and the national team goalkeeper was there, and I crushed it. And I called her and I said, listen, I don't know if you know any coaches, but can you just help me and call a coach that you know? And she called the coach from Ball State, and she gave me a visit and was like, and that was where I went, and that's how it happened. It was, and I don't know why. My whole life has been like a rejection, which has been God's protection. And like, I don't know why I still deal with rejection the way I do, but that moment was the best moment of my life, and it was not easy. Like, no coach called me. I begged them.
Yeah, but you grabbed your recruiting process by the horns and just did what you had to, because you wanted it that bad. 17
years old, all by myself. There was no one else. I was just gonna make. There was no email. No, you were calling, and then you were trying to get connected through the the extensions and stuff. Yeah. Like, it was brutal. It's embarrassing.
It's definitely a process.
Yeah, which is
especially trying to get these athletes recruited nowadays.
Yeah,
constantly, getting coaches' emailing them, sending out their film for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. I just tell them patience.
Yeah.
Patience, and just keep working. If you don't, when they do call, are you going to be ready?
Yeah.
Stay ready, so that way you ain't got to get ready.
It's also how you prepare for that moment of rejection and failure. Like, how are you picking yourself right back up to work harder? Are you picking yourself up to do the work where no one is watching? Are you picking yourself up to put the work on your mind, which I wish I would have done more of. And I think these kids that are putting it in is why they're separating themselves. Yeah. Like, just to give an example, like Olivia DeFons, she got her 100th hit yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
She was in, I think, a 6-game drought from getting 100 hits junior year. First time we started talking, it was, I won it during my junior year. Not many people have done that. And we just started talking, and she's normally a hitter that she pulls the ball everywhere because she's just so athletic, and she sees the ball and rips it. And we had to talk about visualization, and I told her to visualize going right center. And we just talked just about relaxing and what you really see for yourself and not what you think. And yesterday I was at the game. First time up at bat, she hits the ball right center. I really started. It was like a moment where I was like, oh my goodness, what? It was unbelievable. I think she went 2 for 3. I mean, they didn't do very well as a team, but it was incredible. Yeah, it was cool. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that connection came from both of us, where I was able to talk to her easily because you know her. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, she's a good kid. Yeah, she's a tough one.
But she works.
Mm-hmm.
I can say about all the athletes that come. They work. They embrace the hard work and the work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they appreciate it because you can see the results.
Yeah.
In them.
Yes.
And you can see where they're going to end up themselves in their next step. So
yeah.
They gotta keep working.
So just to finish up, I have some questions here that just for coaches, parents, for athletes to think about. One of them being if your phone tracked your energy, not just your screen time, what would it say? Are you focusing on the outcome or the process? These are for athletes. Something to think about, athletes, as we wind down. What are 3 things stealing your focus right now? And are they helping you or hurting you? And then these for coaches or parents, actually, because the more I talk to parents, I feel that pressure is coming from them. How can we teach athletes that focus isn't about perfection, but about presence? What do you think about that? Perfection.
Well,
because I know you talk a lot about perfection.
You got to want to be.
Do you have to want to be perfect?
Right. Nothing's never perfect.
Okay.
But if you go 100 miles an hour, right, even your wrong step is going to feel perfect.
Yeah.
Because you're going to find a way out of that position, out of that step, because you're going 100 miles an hour.
But you need to go 100 miles an hour with a presence about you.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Well, presence, purpose, that will correct your mistakes. So, nothing is never perfect, but you can try to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if you control your E&E, your energy and effort.
Yeah.
With whatever you're doing, right? Your imperfections is always going to, get outshined by your work ethic. So.
Yeah.
We're never going to be perfect.
No.
But we can try to be.
Hold on a second. That's a lull. It's a bad lull. That's a bad lull. Okay, ready? I'm going to ask you these questions. What's one thing you're going to say no to this week to maintain your focus?
I don't know. I gotta think about what's one thing I'm going to say no to.
To keep you more sane.
Well, when I work out, I leave my phone alone.
Okay.
I've been practicing that.
Good. I love that.
I take my phone into the gym with me, and I'm just like, nah. I leave. I put it somewhere where I don't know where it is.
I like that.
So I definitely started practicing saying no to my phone when I'm in my workout.
Okay.
And I find to be more locked in with what I'm doing as opposed to, because when you have your phone in the gym with you, it's like, okay, in between your session, I told you I don't like videoing myself doing all that stuff.
Yeah,
but,
clearly.
What about you?
One thing I'm going to say no to this week?
Yeah.
My negative talk to myself. Yep, I'm done this week. I'm done again. You can restart, refocus, recenter. I'm ready. One phrase you tell yourself to recenter. When you get yourself stressed, because sometimes I can see the stress in your eyes when you're thinking about 300 things. What are you going to say to yourself to recenter this week?
Discipline.
Okay.
I got to stay more disciplined with, with not just one thing, but it's a lot of things. Stay disciplined and stay consistent. Like I didn't get my workout in this morning. I work out. I like to work out 7 days a week.
That's what's off.
Yeah, and I didn't work out yet today, because I've made a decision this morning to do something else as opposed to go and work out.
Yeah.
And I'll have to live with that decision, but I guarantee I'm going to work out at some point today.
Okay.
It's going to be the best workout ever because...
You talked about it now.
not even that, because I already have it embedded in my head that I'm going to work out there. And if I get home at 11 o'clock at night, you better believe I'm working out tonight. You better believe it.
Okay.
I ain't gonna touch no phone then, because I have been better. I don't touch my phone past a certain time.
At night, it's really, you're supposed to put it, I put my phone to sleep. Well, this is obnoxious, but I put my phone to sleep at 6 p.m. at night because I go to bed at 7:30. But
God bless you.
I know it's so bad. I'm trying to stay awake. I don't really like it, but it's fine. So I would say that my phrase I'm going to tell myself is love. And I know that sounds really corny, but like, I love what I do. I love the people that I can affect. I love the risk I took. I have to remember how much I love my athletes. I have to remember how much I love this all in and what I'm doing, and I'm good at it. And it comes down to love for me. It has to start with love and not fear.
So it's funny you say. I remember I did an interview when I was at Rutgers, and the reporter asked me, say, if you could sum up your feelings about football in one word.
Yeah.
And I had no clue Coach Shiano was behind me.
Yeah.
And I was like, love. And I just spit it out. And he looked at me like, love? I'm like, yeah, I love playing the game of football. I was just like, these times I'm never going to get back. Run around the football field, sweating, it's hot. We got the biggest fraternity on campus. I mean, we love this. Especially when you hit one of your teammates and you get to chirp a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to love this. I could hit somebody and not get in trouble for it.
Yeah. There you go.
This is passion. Turn your passion, turn your pain into passion, love. All that. I love this.
Yeah.
And I love what I do. I love the next chapter I create in my life. You got to love it. So
you got to love it. You respect that? It's cool.
Yeah. You got
it's
to
not
love
corny.
what you do. Nah. Hell
I know.
Nah.
Love's going to help you focus. Love is going to
When you love what
Love
you
conquers
do,
all.
you never work a day in your life.
Oh, done. And that, my friends,
When you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
I think this is our 5th episode. We are rolling.
Episode 5, and we just get better and better.
Yeah, just tell us what you want to see. Give us some guests to get on here. And see you next week.